An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping me save more money on prescription drug costs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $23,000 a year or married couples who make less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out. Go to ssa.gov/extra help.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping me save more money on prescription drug costs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $23,000 a year or married couples who make less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out. Go to ssa.gov/extra help.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping me save more money on prescription drug costs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $23,000 a year or married couples who make less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out. Go to ssa.gov/extra help.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
One thing that's really great about this team is our culture off the field. The boys get on with each other really well, and that's huge for when you're down in the dumps and you're facing losses. Like if it's cliquey and if there's infighting, then you just create this vacuum and this black hole that consumes everything. But if you can stay positive with each other and if guys get along and can have fun and can take criticism and give criticism, then you can kind of survive those dark times and hopefully, stick together and ride it out and come out on the positive side.
Welcome to U.S. Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Well, yes. For those who are just listening in and not watching, the glasses that Fitzy has on right now, it's like we're back on the slopes in 1984.
I feel like the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah, that's right. He's getting himself ready for the second half of the show, but this works. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is U.S. Rugby Happy Hour Live. Another very fun night. We thought we would have had a hard time topping last week's show, but this week I think is as equal, if not better, with the two guests we have here. And also, if you do see video of this show, you just got to check out Fitzy's shirt. That green, the Miami Dolphin shirt. Apparently, all your laundry was dirty. You had nothing else to wear.
Pretty much. It was in the smell pile, the pile that smelled good. So I put it on.
Nice. We'll have to put you in the sin bin, like the Chicago Hounds. What was it? Like the doghouse. Yeah, I like it. We'll get you one of those. Let's do a couple of things. Let's take care of business really quick. First of all, if you could, please follow, and subscribe to this show, whether you're listening to the podcast replay on your favorite podcast player or live right now on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Please go ahead and follow us and like it and share it with your friends. It really helps. It helps us, makes us feel good, I guess, and so off. Also, tonight's show is brought to you by QuickTap. QuickTap is the only sports video and analytics platform designed specifically for rugby. QuickTap makes it easy to categorize video and collect stats as you watch film. It's all for coaches, players, staff at all levels, and I promise you it's very affordable. So check it out. With those stats and clips, QuickTap's video review and analytics capabilities help cut the wasted time from your off-field reviews so that you can get straight to the insight you need to play better and get a leg up on your opponent. So check out getquicktap.com. and use the offer code HAPPYHOUR, that's one word, Happy Hour, when signing up for a free trial, which will get you 10% off your annual subscription when you do subscribe, and I really feel like you will. And also, QuickTap will sweeten the deal by tracking your first match for you. QuickTap, the most powerful way to beat your opponent before ever setting foot on the pitch. All right, what do you think, Fitzy? Get into it, or should we talk for another 15 minutes or so about nothing? Let's get into it. Yeah, stupid question. All right. Our first guest tonight didn't wait for the happy hour effect. If you're not familiar with the happy hour effect, that's when guests have big games after appearing on the show. This guy he decided to not risk it and have like the top MLR performance the week prior to the show, just in case all that good luck goes away from us. So let's welcome Jason Damm. Hey, Jason.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's a little overcast here in LA, but happens from time to time. Can't get the sunshine every day.
No, you can't. And I'm slightly disappointed. I was hoping to have a hairstyle talk with you.
This is so.
It's for those listening in. It's not the long hair anymore. It's not the flowing locks. It's a nice close cut to the head. When did you do that?
Yeah, I did it Saturday over the bye. So we had the bye week, and I just needed a change. I was watching film and seeing myself do this every 5 seconds, and just wasn't super stoked with the way that I had been playing. Just wanted to keep raising the standard, and kind of as cheesy as it is, wanted to make a physical change to help with the mindset.
Yeah, hey, whatever it takes, and it seemed to work. So keep going. Shave more hair off for next weekend.
Yeah, I know. I got to go down to a 3, I think, this weekend. Just 1 grade down every week.
I've looked back at videos and photos of the show, and Fitzy, you too have gone from the longer hair to the shorter as well. I think you've really trimmed up over the time. Mine, I'm losing hair, so.
The natural short trim.
Jason, I used to have long hair like you. I had it down past my shoulders. I did that twice in my life, and I like it. And I want to do it again, but my wife's like, you do it again, then you're going to be in the Chicago doghouse. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, man, it can be tough to grow it out. I had it long in college for a while, and then when you're playing, it's so hard to grow it out because, like I said, you keep pushing out your face. And then I finally got it long in Atlanta through COVID. You don't have to go outside and see anybody. You can kind of sit through those awkward phases of hair growth and then come out on the other side with some luscious locks.
I think I had those one time in my life right around 18 years old. So, Jason, I mentioned it in introducing you. Congrats on Player of the Week honors. First hat trick for you and Emmy, in the league. First hat trick in the history of RFCLA. Have you ever scored 3 tries in a match ever at any level?
I didn't think so. Maybe I felt like I got one against Houston in 2021, but I remember me and Ross Deacon were going back and forth that game. I scored, then he scored, then I scored. I felt like I might have gotten 3, but I guess I didn't. I don't know. I never really paid too much attention. This weekend was kind of funny because it was 3 set piece tries. The boys really just handed it to me in a bread basket, so I was happy.
Well, it's very efficient because I think you had 53 meters gained or something like that with 3 tries. So that's very efficient.
I'm all about efficiency, man. Too many knee injuries. You got to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah,
very true. Very true.
Was Ben like, Jason, come on, a couple of those should be mine?
Yeah. I know. Poor hooker, man. He couldn't sneak in fast enough. We were rolling at the back there.
Just tell him to cut his hair. No.
Run fast.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this match really quick. It's no matter when, it's nice to win games, obviously, but it seemed like you and the team got a little more out of this win than others. Was it just the emotions of getting back in the win column?
Yeah, I think that was absolutely huge. We've had some really close games, and I mean, obviously, you look at the record. We won 2, tied 1. But we lost 1 point to Dallas in the first game after getting 4 yellow cards. We lost to San Diego away by 1 point. So we knew we had it in us, and we knew it was coming. But this was a really nice reset point for us. After our last bye week, we're playing the team that we felt like we should have beat week 1. Putting ourselves in a situation to kind of flip the script for the second half of the season. And I mean, you look at it; it's a close game, tied up. Late, and then one team gets an opportunity to put points on the board at the end and finish it. And this time it was us, not them. So that was just a great momentum to push into the back half.
Yeah, Jason, I guess just looking at the schedule, your last non-loss, I guess, was a draw 5 weeks ago against DC. That was DC's, I think, second draw, maybe their first. They've got 2 anyway. There's something about
I think it was the same score line too as their first draw. Yeah.
Lucky 22 all or something like that. Yeah. You mentioned that first game was it? You mentioned 4 yellow cards. I think your squad leads the league in yellows. Is that just because you guys are getting fired up and playing, looser? Like
it's tough to say, man. I mean, obviously you go back and look at that first game and we were super emotional and like some silly errors, stacking things like you see in a new team. And then, the DC game, we got 5 yellow cards, still came out with a draw. So like, I don't know, the boys, I think it might've been a discipline issue. I think sometimes when you're a new team and you're feeling a bit under the pump, fellas feel like they have to step up and be a bit of a hero. And sometimes those sorts of situations can, lead to yellow cards. And then at the same time, when you get tagged as the yellow card team, you're going to be getting looked at a little bit more, not to say that they're not fair or deserved, but, I know I've got a shoulder to the dome probably 20 times this year that hasn't been called, but like, that's just rugby, man. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. If you paint the right pictures and the ref doesn't have that in their head to try and ping you,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just this last game, you were very active. I think the stat, 25 ruck arrivals. Was that were you just in a groove, or was it right places at the right time, or is that just like a metric where you coaches are like, Jason, you need to hit a certain number of ruck arrivals every game?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really focus too much on the ruck arrivals, more of just like that work rate around the pitch. And sometimes like if you're getting into those right positions, then, that kind of can show that work rate a bit. It's something I've been working on all year, like getting back into the flow of the game when you've been out 10 months. Sometimes it builds up and your transitions are a little slower. Your reactions to things are a bit slower. So I just kind of came into this past game with the mindset of like, I'm just going to give it everything. Like, need to do that every week and just have a bit of mongrel about me. And I think the whole team did, and it showed. Like, a couple of us leaders really wanted to lead from the front and fire the boys up, and I think they responded really well to it. So got to keep that going.
Is that more exhausting? You know what I mean? In a good way? Is that the way you should feel after every match like this? That's exactly the effort you need to put into every game. It's exhausting, but that's the way you should feel after every match? Absolutely.
Like, there's nothing worse than coming off the pitch after a loss and feeling like you could have given more. I think, like I was saying with this mindset shift, after the New England game, like I had a late shift to having to be the calling lock because we had an injury in the warm-up. And like, it just messed with my mindset, and I felt like I wasn't as present and active as I wanted to be. So like, that definitely comes into it, right? You come off the pitch and you're like, yeah, I'm tired and beat up, but I felt like I could have done more. And that's just like one of the worst feelings you can have as an athlete, in my opinion. Like, I hate coming off the pitch, win or loss, and feeling like, I didn't really give it my best, or there was more in the tank and I just didn't pick the right opportunities.
Let's talk about some of your teammates, Jason. Generally speaking, specifically speaking, you look like Ben Mitchell, his first start, and he was on the team of the week, so he did well, really well. Matt Heaton having a great season. Semi's playing amazing, and yourself as well. So talk about the makeup of this team, other than maybe those three or those two, who's been standing out as big for the club?
Yeah, those guys are like, Ben Mitchell came in so clutch for us. We were down. We lost 5 locks in like 2 weeks, and I had to put the 4 jersey on my back. So I'm glad Ben Mitchell could come in, and like, he's just one of those guys that's been in the league since the start, and he's just put consistent performances week in and week out. So the fact that we could bring him in for, a couple weeks here and help us out was huge. I think Andrew Coe is a guy who is like a huge pickup for us, just like getting him from New York, brings that X factor. Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, that something can happen. Jason Emery too, from New York, like having this consistent 12 and 13 with James Stokes, experienced and can drive around the pitch. Like, it's crucial. One of the struggles for our team has been, whether it's through bans or injury, we have had a lot of shuffle in the lineup. And it's really hard to get in the groove as a new team when you have basically a different lineup every single week. So hopefully we can build more consistency as we move forward with, a couple more guys coming back from healthy and bans. Hopefully we get no more bans for the rest of the year. That'd be crucial.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of bans, unfortunately, Jason's going to be missing 3 weeks, which is unfortunate. But you're talking about getting into a groove, and you certainly don't want to look past any opponent, right? Like approach every game like it's must win. Anthem this week, right? Anthem, great story of what MLR and USA Rugby are trying to do. That's obviously development side. They're still looking for their first win, but an opportunity here, right, for your club to get consecutive wins and really kind of keep that momentum going. I mean, I guess what do you guys need to do to just make sure that you don't allow Anthem to get their first win, right? Like, because I think, from what I've been reading, if you go on MLR Reddit, some people are like, oh, this is Anthem's best chance here. It's got to be against LA. If it's not LA, it's not going to happen. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all week. I think they made some social media posts with Beat LA all over it. My mom's buying tickets for the game. I'm from Charlotte, so I think the ticket guy was like, just so you know, we're going to win this one and things like that. So, like, we know that they won it. This is their grand final. I think they've had this game circled on their calendar since day one. Like, as a new team, it can be difficult to find wins. So you really have to target the games that you think are winnable. And I think they put that target on our back. So for us, it's really just about focusing on us. Like, people can say what they want about Anthem, but if you watch their most recent games, like, they are consistently improving. And Seattle, I think they had them within a try for like 60 minutes. So that they're not someone you can just look over. No team in this league is. So we're really looking at us and continuing to build on the momentum we gained last week and like sticking to our DNA, the things we do well, and not looking past Anthem at all. Like, this is huge for us. This is probably just as important for us as it is to them. Like, if we can get 2 wins in a row on this 8-game stretch, it puts us on a really great trajectory. So I know people are, looking for an upset and things like that. And, but this game's just as big for us as it is for them. And I think we're going to be I know we're going to be bringing everything we have, to make sure we come out with the W.
Just Bill, real quickly, because like Jason, if you look, I'm sure you guys look at the schedule. I mean, this week alone, the teams that you're chasing in the standings, that 3 and 4 spot. I mean, Dallas has a tough match against Seattle, and San Diego has to take on the New England Free Jacks, right? So if both those teams were to drop, you guys get that bonus point win. All of a sudden, you're right back in the thick of things, right? And it's then it's like, okay, it's a different story. Nothing I need to tell you. I'm sure you guys know that. Coach Steph is aware of it, but equally, I'm probably saying what you're just going to repeat anyway, but like equally important that this is a big opportunity for RFC LA to get really right back in that playoff hunt.
Yeah, we haven't put ourselves in a position to be able to drop any games. So like, looking at these last 8 games, we have to take it one game at a time and approach each one as a must win, because in reality, they are. If we come out of each game with a bonus point win, 8 games, that's 40 points. Like, that puts us in a really good spot to be in playoff contention. Like, we're not out of it. Obviously, things are a little, more separated on the West than they are in the East. But still, I think. Oh, sorry. I think my headphone. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I think we're focused on just taking it a game at a time and doing what we can to see where we end up at the end of the season.
Now, one of your season ticket holders wrote this, if you can read this at all. His buddy plays for Anthem, and he said they're looking at RFC LA for a chance to get basically their first W. Obviously, you guys can't let that happen.
Yeah.
Especially for what you just said about making possibly a run for a playoff spot. Has training been intense this week? I mean, coming off that win, I'm sure people are riding high, so they're up for anything, obviously. But has training been intense as far as getting this win also this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of changed the way we trained a little bit, looked at the things that were working well and the things that weren't during the bye, and made some adjustments coming, out of the bye into Dallas, and carried some of that into this week. So, we're trying to bring the intensity of training. We are we're not banging as much as you would at the early season, because, it's week, whatever. I don't even know. I just am week by week. but bodies are hurting, and boys are dropping left and right. So like the intensity's there, but it's a lot of mental focus. Making sure that when we're on the pitch, we're super switched on, because we know that the minutes get limited near the end of the year.
I don't. Obviously, we don't want to harp. No one wants to harp on losses of any club. But knowing you're a better team than maybe your record is showing, it's got to wear on the players over time. Maybe, again, what I mentioned earlier about the excitement of winning this game over Dallas. How did you and your teammates keep your head up and keep fighting?
Yeah, we search for the little victories. Like, it's something we said early on as a team. We knew things weren't going to go right all the time. Obviously, in your head, you're like, we're going to win every game. But realistically, you don't. And like as a leadership group and coaching staff, we kind of looked at ways to curb the losses, spin the positives, and see the progress each week. Obviously, there are some weeks where it's like head down, like the Seattle week we put up. It's like just a really bad performance by our standards. But then we picked it back up again and kind of found a bit of a rhythm and took the positives and learnings from that. One thing that's really great about this team is our culture off the field. Like the boys get on with each other really well. And that's huge for when you're down in the dumps and you're facing losses. Like if it's cliquey and if there's infighting, then you just create this vacuum and this black hole that consumes everything. But if you can stay positive with each other, and if guys get along and can have fun and can take criticism and give criticism, then you can kind of survive those dark times. And hopefully, stick together and ride it out and come out on the positive side.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping me save more money on prescription drug costs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $23,000 a year, or married couples who make less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out. Go to ssa.gov/extra help.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now back to the show. You mentioned the culture there that was formed. I guess maybe talk a little bit about that. We got some questions, in a little bit here about the relocation from Atlanta. But, as you mentioned, newer squad, some carryover right from Atlanta. But like, how does the culture form around the club? Is it on the players? Is it on the coaches, the staff? Or is it a little bit of everyone just being professionals and realizing like, hey, we need to pitch up here?
Yeah, I think we had obviously a group from Atlanta. We had a group from Tel Aviv, and then kind of guys from all cultures. So we have, so many different nationalities on the team. There's not really one dominant, country represented. Americans, Canadians are pretty balanced. Foreign guys, we have guys from all over. So that helps in making guys mesh together because you can't kind of get comfortable in your little clique. You have to branch out and meet each other. But also when you're creating a culture, you can't force it, right? You can maybe nudge it and give it a bump in this direction. Or if you see it going this way, you can kind of curb it to square it back up to what we want. But it has to happen naturally. And I think the coaches and the managers did a great job of selecting this group of fellas to get on with each other well and kind of have a good balance of professionalism and fun. Like you're in a city of LA, it's hard to tell people to move here and not have fun, right? But while you're having fun, you have to earn it. You have to put the work in on the pitch so you can go and, enjoy the beach in the afternoon or whatever it is. So, that's really it. Like it happens organically, and I feel pretty blessed to be in a place where the culture is right now is very positive.
You're getting out. Are you surfing at all? You must be really enjoying Southern California. I mean, it's not Charlotte or still.
Yeah. No, it's not Atlanta. No, I'm just kidding. I love it out here. Yeah. My mom, she actually lives in Charlotte now, but she went to Cal State Long Beach, and my granny and aunt live out here, sister in San Diego. So I've been coming out to California. I think I was conceived in California. Actually, my dad was in Marine Corps stationed at Camp Pendleton. And then I was born in Atlanta a little bit later. So I'm maybe technically Californian. You could maybe count it. It's great. You see the beach every day. One of the best things about the West Coast is the sunsets. Like Grew up on the East Coast. If you want to see the sunrise, you got to get up early, and not everyone's keen for that. I know I'm not always super keen for that, but here it's like you just look out the porch at 7:30 and you get a great sunset every day. My brother's the big surfer, so he's like a surfer and skater. I think he was the one who was meant to be out here.
He still has the hair for it. He still has the hair.
Maybe a little. I think he's getting Archie's gone. He's
Yeah, I've got in-laws in Redondo Beach, Torrance.
Oh, that's right. That's where I'm at, bro. Redondo, represent South Bay. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, I'll be out there in a couple weeks, matter of fact. But I wanted to talk a little bit more. Touch a little bit on the rugby ATL kind of just like relocation, right? And just like, the culture that was built there in Atlanta, the unfortunate passing of the owner, and then the decision, just kind of the turmoil around, is the team coming back? And then the decision, obviously for new ownership to come in and take it to I guess from your perspective, kind of like what was going through your mind when some of that was going on?
Yeah, man, it was, obviously it was like, I've said a bunch of times, it was a huge gut punch. Like when you build something and then you kind of have it taken away from you, it hurts. And we we had to deal with that. Like the reality of the situation was, if we didn't get bought, there wasn't going to be a rugby ATL next year anyway. So like, people can say what they want, but the people who stepped in to purchase the team really, in a way, like saved a bunch of our opportunities there. And, the thing that really sucks about the situation is there's a bunch of guys who were very based in Atlanta, whether they were going to life or they had families and careers there and were also playing rugby, that kind of had to hang them up earlier than they probably should have or could have. And that's like one of the tough things, about the transition. Unfortunately, like, what do you do? It's tough. I think that they handled it well in that, like, they kind of took care of those guys and made sure that there were options for everyone, every different path, whether you wanted to come to LA, whether you didn't, whether you wanted to keep playing rugby, whether you didn't. So, it was tough, but at the end of the day, for me, it was a change that was kind of refreshing. Like when you stay in the same place for a while. I love Atlanta, and I planned on retiring there. But sometimes a fresh start is good and breeds competition, and sort of reignites a fire inside you to keep getting better. And you can't be comfortable in a new place.
This will make Fitzy laugh. I played at rugby in Atlanta for many years, for life for half a season, and then played for many years. So it's a good rugby town. There, that's my one mention. Me played rugby in Atlanta once. Okay,
there you go.
Actually, Old White just beat Charlotte twice this past season to get. Anyway, move on from there. Let's talk USA Rugby, USA Eagles. You're named to the training squad, extended squad for the 2 matches in July. How's that feel to get called up again? Has to be a good confidence boost for you.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, obviously, I've had some opportunities. We've gotten a few caps, but missed out on a lot because of injury. And my wedding was in the middle of the repechage, and I think if I would have gone to that instead of the wedding, I wouldn't have been married. So
no.
I made the family man choice there. Don't regret it at all. But so I missed out on a lot. So honestly, it was really, really good confidence boost coming off the injury and showing that they still have, faith in me and like the product that I'm putting on the field. Obviously, I'm looking to improve every week, looking to continue to grow and play at like a high international standard so that I can represent my country the best, whether it's in the MLR or with the USA patch on my chest.
And Fitzy, was that match against Chile last year, was that the taste of international play that you had to have more?
Yeah, man, it was super infectious. I mean, my first cap was in Chile, and there's like 17,000 Chileans just like yelling at you, and seeing them sing their national anthem, like the pride in it, and it's like, oh man, this magical moment. And obviously that game was so hectic with the dumping down rain, and then the power went out like 3 minutes after I came on the field. It was quite a debut, but and then obviously getting to represent the country in front of USA fans in Glendale, like, man, it was magical. I come from a family of military service. My dad was in the Marine Corps for 20 years, both his brothers in for 20 and 30, his dad for 30. So like, it's kind of always been ingrained in me, like this service of your country. And I don't know, it's kind of like a beautiful way for me to be able to serve my country in my own way. Like, obviously didn't join the military, but can still represent my nation and give it to some countries for them, hopefully get a couple harsh carries and tackles against the opposition with the red, white, and blue on my chest. Feels good.
You got good company there. Other number 8s named to the extended roster. Quite a number from MLR. We don't have to go through all of them, but Luke White, Chicago, Ben Bonasso is going to be a little bit from Miami, and Thomas Tuval from Utah. How do you guys find that balance between like being competitive and competing for a spot and like supporting each other, right? Like that's got to be that. To me, that's always probably been the most interesting thing about competing for a national team spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not super unfamiliar to us, right? Because we kind of have to do it every day at our clubs. Like you have to be best friends with the guy that you're trying to beat out every single week, So it's not new. It's just a bit different because we don't see those guys every week, so it can get a little more competitive, and in your head, you can kind of be like, you kind of use it as fuel. Like this guy has a good week and you're like, all right, you know what? I got to show up. Luke was actually my roommate, my first ever MLR year. So I'm happy to see him get in the mix, the past couple of years. He's a great fella. And then Thomas Tuval has also just improved season to season in the MLR, and like he's a big bruiser. So just, it really helps me raise the standard. Like when you're finding the ways to get pushed and push yourself, watching some of their film and things like that, figuring out the good ways to get better.
Well, Ben is waiting in the green room right here for his half.
Oh, Ben,
if you want to talk some trash to him right now about how you're going to, we could pop him in here just for a second. I don't know if he'd be up for that.
Let him know.
Yeah, let's see if he wants to jump in here real quick. Hey, Ben, you okay?
He's just gonna keep calling me slow the whole time.
Hey, mate, what happened? You didn't say anything about me.
Hey, bro.
Yeah. Here's a chance, Jason. Come on, let him have it.
Nah. Benji's too fast for me, bro. I can't keep up with him. He's different. I love it.
Nice. All right. Hey, Benji, we're going to drop it back down. We'll come right back to you here in a second. All right, Jason, we're going to let you go. I was hoping there would be something there we can post as a tease tomorrow. Like, oh no, there's turmoil on the USA side. There's when Miami and LA.
Guy, man, I can't believe him. He's two 8s clashing in a new club. No, I love Benji. He's whenever we were down in South America, I was pester him with my Spanish knowledge, which is not that great, but he obviously speaks it much better than me. So every once in a while, I like to hit him with a couple of Spanish phrases I know to get his reactions,
Nice. Well, hey, Jason, thank you so much for your time. And again, thank you for coming on West Coast time. Enjoy. Well, your brother enjoys the waves. You can enjoy the waves too. Enjoy the waves, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, appreciate you, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Cheers, Benji. Go well, brother.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, good stuff. Good guy. These are Fitzy. Looking at the the USA 53-man roster, I like it. I love the list on there. And I keep on going back to years prior of people that we missed from, like Titi Lamazatelli, who obviously just signed with Harlequins. He's no longer USA qualified. But I look at names and I went down this list. I'm like, I like it. And there's a lot of players that can get debuts who could really contribute to this team and a lot of experience. I think MLR is helping out quite a bit.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have like a fire and a passion to want to put the jersey on, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that comes from Scott Lawrence, and I don't know. It probably doesn't from USA Rugby. Maybe our next guest will share a little more about that in a couple minutes here. But, one thing we need to talk about a little more again is, earlier we mentioned with Jason about, getting ready for games, getting prepared for Anthem, not wanting to drop that one against Anthem, a game that should win. And obviously a lot of research goes into the opponent. Not just themselves, but they also look into the opponent, what do they do right? What do they do wrong? How can they attack it? And it's a lot of film. It's a lot of film with those teams. But we got you covered because our sponsor for the show tonight and every night is QuickTap. QuickTap is a great source for these teams and players of all levels. That's coaches, players, staff, again, all levels. And they are the only platform designed specifically for rugby. Very affordable. You should check them out. QuickTap makes it easy to categorize video and collect stats as you watch film. With those stats and clips, QuickTap's video review and analytics capabilities help cut the wasted time from your off-field review so you can get right to the insight you need to play better rugby and get a leg up on your opponent. Find out what Anthem's doing, that kind of stuff. So check out getquicktap.com and use the offer Happy Hour. That's one word, Happy Hour, when signing up for a free trial. That Happy Hour code will also get you 10% off your annual subscription, and QuickTap will sweeten the deal by tracking your first match for you. And QuickTap, the most powerful way to beat your opponents before ever setting foot on the pitch.
Hey listener, we really appreciate you tuning in to the US Rugby Happy Hour Live. That was just the first half of the show. Be sure to check out the second half and previous shows here on your favorite podcast player. Also, please like, subscribe, or follow and leave us a 5-star review. That helps get these shows in front of more and more listeners. Now, what are you waiting for? Go check out the other shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.